Hi, I'm Stephanie Jaworski of JoyBaking.com. Today we're going to make a chocolate angel food cake. This cake has a mild chocolate flavor and a soft and spongy texture. And what's really great about this cake, it has no butter, no oil, no egg yolks. The main ingredient is egg whites. So to begin, preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 180 degrees Celsius. And then you will need a 10-inch, that's 25 centimeter, two-piece tube pan. And you want to use a pan that's in two pieces like this so that the cake will come out really easily, because we are not going to grease the pan. So the first thing we're going to do is to mix our dry ingredients together. So you will need 1 cup, that's 100 grams of sifted cake flour. That means you sift the cake flour and then measure it. If you don't have cake flour, if you can't find it, you could use 3/4 of a cup, 100 grams of all-purpose flour, and then sift that. And then you will also need 3/4 of a cup, that's 150 grams of just white sugar, granulated white sugar, 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I like to use a kosher salt, and 1/4 cup of unsweetened cocoa powder. You can use either just a regular unsweetened or the Dutch process, whatever you have in the house. And then I'm just going to sift that because as you know, cocoa powder typically has a lot of lumps. Now I'm just going to whisk these dry ingredients together. You could also sift them to get air in there. But you want to make sure everything's all mixed together. Okay. Simple enough. Okay. So now, if you have an electric stand mixer like I have here, use the whisk attachment. Otherwise, you could just use a hand mixer. Now, you will need 1.5 cups, that's 360 milliliters of egg whites. That will be approximately 12 eggs, depending, large eggs, it's about that. And bring them to room temperature because they'll whip a lot to their full height if they're at room temperature. Now, whenever you're whipping egg whites, make sure that your bowl is clean and free of grease and very dry, as the same thing with your whisk. So what we're going to do first is just beat this on medium speed just until foamy, just to break up the egg whites, and then we're going to add some cream of tartar. Okay, as you can see, just want them just a little foamy. So now I'm going to add just 1 teaspoon of cream of tartar. Now this will help stabilize the whites and help them whip to their full height. If you can't find it, then you can just leave it out. It's usually, if you can't find it, look in the spice part of your grocery store where all the other ground spices are. That's usually where it is. So now what I'm going to do is just continue to beat about medium speed just until soft peaks form. Okay, so now we're at soft peaks, as you can see. That's what you're looking for. So now, we got to sweeten our meringue. So what we're going to do is add another 3/4 of a cup, 150 grams of granulated white sugar to our meringue. So what we're going to do is add the sugar gradually, like a tablespoon at a time. And the reason we do that is that so the sugar will dissolve completely into the meringue, because if you added it all at once, it wouldn't dissolve. It would take a long time to dissolve. So what I'm going to do is just add a tablespoon at a time with the mixer running. And then what we're going to do is continue to beat until we have really nice stiff but shiny peaks. You don't want them dry. You want them nice and shiny. Okay, there we have it. Isn't that beautiful? See, nice and stiff, still very shiny. That's what you're looking for. So now we're going to just flavor our meringue with 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, and try to use a pure. It's a lot better flavor than the artificial ones. And I'm just going to beat that in. Okay. So now what I like to do, you don't necessarily have to do it, but I like to use a wider bowl, because now what we're going to do is fold into the dry ingredients into our meringue. And this, I don't have a lot of room here in this bowl, so plus this way you can see what I'm doing at home. Okay. As you can see, it's not a lot of ingredients in an angel food cake, and it's really quite easy to make. So now, what we're going to do is we're going to sift our dry ingredients over the meringue and then fold it in. So we don't want to do it all at once. Again, you just want to do a bit, because if you did it all at once, it's kind of hard to fold it all in. So just, maybe a third of the dry, sift it over top. And then you could use your either your rubber spatula, or you could use a wire whisk. Just mix it in. We don't want to do this in the with our wire whisk in the mixer, because we don't want to over mix the dry ingredients and then deflate our egg whites. So there we go. This is a really good cake for anyone that's watching their fat intake. It's very nice just on its own or with some fresh fruit. Just stir it in. Make sure you get the whole down to the bottom. And the last bit there. Okay. Let's turn it over. Good. Make sure we get down to the bottom of the bowl. Okay, so like I said, we're not greasing our angel food cake pan, because we want the batter to cling to the sides as it bakes. That's why you really need the 2-piece pan. Otherwise, it's kind of hard to get it out if you used a regular bundt pan. Okay. So now, let's take my spoon here and try to level it out. And then, just to, there tends to be air bubbles, so just take either a knife or a flat edge spatula here and then just run it through the batter a few times. That way we'll break any, well, hopefully, sometimes there's a few air bubbles in the baked cake, but we'll try to get rid of as many as we can here. Okay, and then just smooth the top again. You could also just bang your pan a few times on the counter. Okay, so there we have it. Now, into the oven, depending on your oven, be somewhere between 35 and 45 minutes until a wooden skewer inserted into the middle here comes out clean, and it's nice, if you press it, it's nice, soft and spongy. Okay, so our chocolate angel food cake is now done. As you can see, the top is kind of all cracked and ragged. That's the way it's supposed to look. And then, as you can see, if you press it, it'll spring back. And if you insert a toothpick, it'll come out clean. So now what we want to do is invert this cake right away onto some, like a flat bottom bowl like this. And what that will do, and the reason we do that is so that as it cools, it won't shrink and lose volume. So what we're going to do is just going to leave it like this for probably an hour and a half till it's completely cooled. So now we'll remove the chocolate angel food cake from the pan. So you'll need either a flat edge spatula or you could just use a knife. Just run your spatula around the inside to release the cake from the pan, and also do the center core because it sticks to that as well. And then just kind of take your fingers and kind of loosen it from the bottom, and then you just lift it out like so. And then you will need, take your spatula again, and then we got to, you have this bottom plate. So just run your spatula or knife between the bottom of the pan and your cake to release that. And then you just invert it onto your cake platter like so. There you have it. So you can dust the top with either some cocoa powder or confectioner's sugar, and you can cover and store this for quite a few days at room temperature or last probably at least a week in the refrigerator. So until next time, I'm Stephanie Jaworski of joybaking.com.